Hello and welcome to today's video. This is my January TBR for 2023. The first TBR of 2023. We are once again using my Snakes and Ladders game, but I have made a few changes, maybe a few improvements. And because this is the first TBR game of the year, I will be going over all of the rules in this video as well, just to update, refresh, have one video to look back at the rules on. So yeah, that is the plan. Honestly, don't need much introduction, but TBR stands for to be read. In this game, I get prompts, that from those prompts I pick books out that fit the prompts, and that's how I build my TBR for the month. My aim every month is 6 books. I can normally read comfortably 7 or 8 books a month, so 6 books are concrete, and that gives me a little bit of wriggle room for other books and mood reading. However, this is Snakes and Ladders, so sometimes we get less than 6, sometimes we get more than 6. We've had some times where we've got like a ridiculous amount and I've had to stop. But yeah, basically that's how it works. This is the game, this is what we're doing today. We're picking out my TBR for January. So yeah, let's just get into it. This is the board. So right now I'm trying to start going over the rules. This is the board. You can see it's pretty much set out like your standard Snakes and Ladders, 1 to 100. You have to get from the bottom to the top. For this I use a little counter. This is just a piece of ribbon that's cut into a heart, and an 8-sided die. I don't remember the reasons why I chose 8-sided anymore. I'm guessing just so that you could get a bit more movement. It's nice to complete the board a couple of times a year. So yeah, that is the basics of it. If you land on a ladder, you get to -1. So rather than picking 6 prompts and 6 books, I would pick 5 books and 5 prompts if I landed on a ladder, so I'll go up. If you land on a ladder, you -1 and you take the prompt from that game from the square at the top of the ladder. So for instance, if I landed on this one here, I'd go from picking 6 prompts to 5 prompts. And for the current roll that I was doing, I would pick up a purple card. I'll get into the cards in a moment. Then snakes, if you land on a snake, because snakes are like, they're negative, you're going down the board, they're not a good thing, you have to add a roll. So if I was doing 6 rolls, I'd have to add and get to 7 rolls. And you go down and pick your prompt from the colour at the bottom of the snake. Those are the basics. There are 4 shiny squares throughout the board. These are at 25, 50, 75 and 100. These are pretty simple. They're just, if you land on that square, it's something a bit weirder. It's not exactly necessarily a book to fulfill a prompt. So if I land on 25, I would play a round of someone else's TBR game to pick a book. If I landed on square 50, I would pick a book from a TBR jar. So far, in the year I've been playing this game, we haven't landed on 50, so I still haven't made a TBR jar, but you never know, this year might be the year. 75, I'd do a giveaway for a book, and 100, I get to buy a book guilt-free, like it doesn't count towards my spreadsheets of how many books I've brought versus how many books I've read, sort of thing. So yeah, those are the 4 like kind of extra nice prompts, and if I move the board like that, you can kind of see the squares are shiny, so they are quite noticeable. So then on the rest of the board we have 5 other colours, and if you land on a square, you pick a prompt from that square. Each of the colours represents a type of prompt. The colours are purple, pink, blue, orange and green. So let's get into those. Purple is visual, so if you landed on a purple square, you'd pick up the card, turn it over. So for instance, the visualisation on this one is green cover, so visually you are picking a book because of its visual aspect, hence the green cover. Pink is genre-ish. These are pretty much all genres, but there might be a few in there that like don't count as genres or as sub-genres or are a bit weirder or specific. For instance, if you pick the top one off this one, it would say fantasy, and it's a genre. You pick the book based on the genre. If you land on a blue, it is a game or some sort of type of like gamified way of picking out the prompt. So for instance, this one on the top here is phone a friend, so phone or text, whatever, but you'd message a friend and say, can you pick a book for me to read? Simple as that. It's kind of a bit gamified. Then type. This is the type of book that it is. So for instance, the top one here is sequel, so you'd pick a book based on the fact it is a sequel. As simple as that. It's just type of book. And then the more complicated one is green, because green is other, and this is a catch-all for any prompts that didn't fit into the other 4 categories. So for instance, this is set in warm/summer, so that'd be set in warm/summer. But then the next one is something like read from a favourite author. There's all sorts in here and there's all sorts to choose from, but those are the basics. Now, there are technically 2 types of cards you can pick up. Every card in here is the exact same, like it means the exact same. You're picking up a book from the prompt. All of the cards that I was using up until now all just look like this. They had the white front with the coloured square and the visual, and on the back it's got the prompt, so green cover. Now, if I flick through these a second. Okay, so here's one for example. On this side it looks the exact same. On this side you can see it's different. It's still got the prompt on it. All this means is that I've added it in this year. I just wanted to give the card stack a bit of a refresh, so I've gone through and added some extra prompts into each category. And just so that I know that they're new prompts, that I've definitely never done them before, because I do put the cards back into them once I've read the book. I just made it a different colour on the back. So yeah, there's no difference if it gets selected. I don't do anything extra, I don't do anything less. It's just for me to know you added this prompt in to start the 2023 year off. It hasn't been in since the start of the game. So, how many cards are there to possibly choose from? Technically 98 right now, because some of them are still in other books around the house. If I hadn't lost multiple cards that I'm guessing are just going to be found at some point throughout the year as I get to books that I didn't complete on my TBRs last year, there is technically 116 total. But there are 18 that I know were in the deck last year but aren't this year. So yeah, I'm sure they'll turn up at some point. Like, if I really carefully went through all of my books, I might find some. I'm just hoping they'll show up. It's not that big of a deal. It'd just be nice to have all of the prompts there. And then last year when I made the game, so I made the game to start last January, there were the exact number of prompts that there were spaces on the board. So how many purple spaces on the board, there were that number of prompts. How many pink spaces are on the board, there's that number of prompts, so on and so forth. This year I've just added them in for if I could come up with some new fun prompts, added it in. That's the basics of it. There's no set reason or rhyme as to why there's, you know, only a few in one and loads in another or anything like that. It's just the way it is. I think those are all the rules. I don't do any punishments because that just doesn't motivate me to read. I would much rather like gain something. But yeah, don't do punishments, don't do rewards, don't do anything like that. And I don't put too much pressure on myself to finish the TBRs in the month, but I try my best. Sometimes my mood reading brain takes over, but I really enjoy playing this. I really enjoy making the TBRs. And spoiler alert, I have already done the rolls for this month because I need to like angle the camera down to do the rolls. I'm very impressed with what I've got. I think I might complete my TBR in January, so that will be fun. So yeah, let's just get into it now. We might as well just start the rolls. I don't think I've got anything else to add. If you are confused by anything, if there's anything you think I've missed out, just comment it down below. I'll reply to it. I'm pretty sure, fingers crossed, I've mentioned everything that I needed to. Oh, except for this video only, we're currently redoing The Office, hence like the background is very different. I've just got one bookshelf moved to the side because we're like redecorating, so it has been a little bit more difficult to pick the books out. But yeah, that's why the background's different. We will have hopefully a fun new nice background set up for next month's TBR. Fingers crossed that everything goes well and I don't destroy or break anything when redecorating. So yeah, let's roll. Okay, roll 1 for the first book of 2023, and we have a 6. So I am starting from the start because it is a new year. Just figured to start from the start, fresh game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is purple, that is visual, and the prompt for visual is foiling on the cover. So as you saw for roll number 1, we got foiling on the book. So I actually could not decide what to do for this one. I ended up putting a poll over on my Instagram, which I'll shove over this side. There were 3 books when I went through quickly, books that I'm really intrigued and interested in starting soon. There were 3 books out of those that had foiling on the cover. 2 of them are now here on the top of this stack, but the one that won the poll was Assassin's Apprentice. which is exciting and scary because this is a big commitment. It doesn't look that bad, but this is like a 15-16 book series, I think. Well, not series, but like there's a bigger series that this book series is a part of. So I am aware that when I'm starting this, I'm starting quite a big thing in a big world, and I'm excited for that, but also very nervous, and yeah, I'm intrigued. So this is book 1 of the Farseer trilogy, which is the first book in the first trilogy of Robin Hobb's like big world that she made. So yeah, that's what I know. I'm going to read the back. Fitz is a royal bastard, cast out into the world with only his magical link with animals for solace and companionship. But when Fitz is adopted into the royal household, he must give up his old ways and learn a new life. Weaponry, scribing, courtly manners, and how to kill a man secretly. Meanwhile, raiders ravage the coasts, leaving the people forged and soulless. As Fitz grows towards manhood, he will have to face his first terrifying mission, a task that poses as much risk to himself as it does to his target, for Fitz is a threat to the throne, but he may also be the key to the future of the kingdom. So excited for this, so intrigued, really want to get into it. Yeah, really excited that that is how we're starting out this year. Okay, roll number 2. We got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is green, which is other. And for other, we have set in another world, and that is our first of the new prompts that we've found. So yeah, that's one of the new prompts. Okay, so roll number 2, we got set in another world. I'm hoping this one counts. I mean, it does count, it does. So for this, I'm going with Binti, and basically, I'm not 100% sure where this is set, but it's futuristic, so I'm not 100% sure if it's set on Earth at all, but from the description on the back, it's set in at least two planets. So I'm taking that as like, even if one of those is Earth, another one of them is another planet, and I'm taking that as like classing for the prompt. So yes, that is what we're doing with this. I'm sure I'll figure it out as I start reading, but from the back I just can't really tell. She left her home for the stars, but found more adventure than she bargained for. A tense and intimate coming-of-age story in space. Her name is Binti, and she is the first of the Himba people ever to be offered a place at University, the finest institution of higher learning in the galaxy. But to accept the offer will mean giving up her place in her family to travel between the stars among strangers who do not share her ways or respect her customs. Knowledge comes at a cost, one that Binti is willing to pay, but her journey will not be easy. The world she seeks to enter has long warred with the Meduse, an alien race that had become the stuff of nightmares. University has wronged the Meduse, and Binti's stellar travel will bring her within the deadly reach. If Binti hopes to survive the legacy of war not her making, she will need both the gifts of her people and the wisdom enshrined within the university itself. But first, she has to make it there alive. I think this sounds so good. I'm really intrigued by it. It's a little tour novella, and during 2022 I read all of the Murderbot books that are currently out, and they're tour novellas. So I'm hoping for the same sort of vibe and excitement and just way of exploring worlds and people and everything that I got from that one, and I've heard good things about this, so yeah, really excited to do it. If you do want to see me read this, I am planning like the first few days in January to do some sort of like reading vlog where I read a load of short books to catch up on like the new Goodreads goal. So this will probably be in there because it's tiny. This is 90 pages, so very tiny. I think it'll be a very fast read, and very excited by it. Okay, time for roll number 3. And we've got a 1, so that is purple. Visual again. Visual, we've got flowers on the cover, and once again another one of the new prompts. So roll number 3, we got flowers on the cover. I struggled with this more than I thought. This is a new prompt because I kept noticing that loads of books had flowers on the cover. Perhaps I just don't own them, I don't know, but I thought this was a trend that I was noticing lately. Maybe not. What I've gone for, there are flowers on the cover, I will show you. Let me focus the camera. There we go. So in this bottom corner here, there is like a bouquet or a vase of flowers. I'm really hoping that you can see that, but yeah, there's 3 flowers There's at least 3 lilies right in this bottom corner here. So I'm going for it. There's flowers on the cover. And I'm going for The Tempest by William Shakespeare. One of my goals for this year is to read, I think I've put at least 6 Shakespeare down in my goals. I own a load of them. I haven't read them. The Tempest is the only one one less missing card. This just fell out of here. The Tempest is one of the only Shakespeares that I've read already. I studied The Tempest and Romeo and Juliet at school. I haven't read them since school. I left school, well, it'll be 10 years ago this year, and I didn't read them in my final year, so it's been a long time. I want to at least start reading them, and I thought a good way to do it is to reread the ones that I'm already familiar with first before diving into ones that I'm not. So yeah, we're gonna go for The Tempest, just trying to start the goals early on in the year, keep them in mind, and yeah, I think this should be good. I don't really remember a lot about this except for the fact there's a big ship that gets washed up and it's kind of like this magical land, and I think there's like a wizard and there's some like creatures and everyone has to like intermix and mingle, and like some people know each other and some people don't, and it's yeah, I can remember enjoying it. I can remember I think there's like some sort of BBC interpretation of it or something, so yeah, that's what I'm with that. Okay, so we are up to roll number 4. So far we've hit no snakes or ladders, so let's give it a go. That is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Visual again. Okay, cool. Visual. And the prompt is white cover. Okay, then our next prompt number 4 was white cover. So for this one, I ended up picking up A Room of One's Own. This is a book I've wanted to read for a while, but it's also come up recently. There's like a bit of like a video project I want to do in the background of all my reading for the first few months of the year, and this is one of the books that I need to read for it. Don't know if it'll happen. I haven't committed to it yet, but I thought might as well, you know, the one that I already own for like the 5 or 6 books that I'm going to end up needing, might as well give it a go and see. I don't actually know the synopsis of this one. I don't really know anything about it, and my copy doesn't have a synopsis, but it does say throughout history some books have changed the world. They have transformed the way we see ourselves and each other. They have inspired debate, dissent, war and revolution. They have enlightened, outraged, provoked and comforted. They have enriched lives and destroyed them. No Pain Brings You works are great, and it's like part of that series of books that I think have done that. So yeah, I really want to read it. I want to give it a go. I want to get more into classics and read more, and I think this is a really good one to start that journey off with this year. Okay, so then roll number 5. We've got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is game. Turn that over, and that is A to Z title random letter generator. So that will be a title that starts with a randomly generated letter. So then prompt number 5, we got A to Z title random generator. So I did a random generator and I got the letter E. Hopefully you'll be able to see it at this side here. I did take a screenshot, but yeah, I got E, and for this I'm putting on a book that I got very recently. I only got this a couple of weeks ago and I've been so excited to read it since I got it, and that is Earthlings. I read Convenience Store Woman last year. It might have been the year before now, and I wasn't amazed by it. I liked some of the things it was doing. I enjoyed parts of it, but a lot of it also annoyed me. One of the things I've heard is if you like that book, that this kind of like is that book but like amplified. It's even more, and it kind of tackles the same things, but a lot of people say that this one does it better. So I'm really intrigued by it, really want to read it, and I'm really in love with this cover. Like, look at that little hedgehog thing, like so cute. So yeah, that's why I picked it. On the back it just says, as a child Natsuki believed she was an alien, a different species to her Earthling family and classmates. She hoped a spaceship would come down and take her home. Now she lives quietly in an asexual marriage, pretending to be normal. But the buried horrors of Natsuki's past are pursuing her. As she flees the suburbs for the Nagano Mountains and a reunion with her beloved cousin Yu, she wonders, what will it take to escape the Earthlings? I'm intrigued. I think it sounds cool. I think it sounds exciting, and yeah, I don't have much more to say. That sounds so interesting. Like, what's going to be going on? Who knows? Okay, so last roll now, roll number 6. Hopefully we missed that snake that we're near. Oh, that went all the way over there. But that was a 1. So we've got visual again, and the visual is purple cover. So yeah, final roll. Very uneventful game. Very happy with that. Okay, and then our last and final roll, and can you believe we didn't hit any snakes or ladders this game? So it was so smooth sailing. I'm very pleased, very impressed. But we've got visual, and that was purple cover. Now this is the one book where I feel like normally when you say purple cover you expect fully purple cover. Turns out I don't really own any books that have fully purple covers. I've had a really good look and honestly I don't, so I'm going to go for this one. This is Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability and Making Space. This part of it is purple. I know it's not that much of the cover, but it's like an 1/8 of the cover, maybe a bit more than an 1/8. So I'm going to take it. There's also a couple of purple lines here that go around. But yeah, I'm going to make it work. It's got purple on the cover. Is it exactly what I meant by the prompt? No. I would have liked to have found a cover that was predominantly purple. But this TBR game is also meant to help me read the books I own. And this is the best I can do. So this is what we're doing. And it's a book I'm really excited for. And like literally can't wait to read. So I mean, I'm not going to question it too much. Fairy tales shape how we see the world. So what happens when you identify more with the beast than beauty? If every disabled character is mocked and mistreated, how does the beast ever imagine a happily ever after? Amanda Ludick looks at fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm to Disney, showing us how they influence our expectations and behaviour and linking the quest for disability rights to the new kinds of stories that celebrate different. I just think it sounds so good. I think it sounds like such an important read, such like a read that I should be very aware of. I love fairy tales. I love fairy tale retellings. Like all of that thing, like I think it's amazing. I think it's great, and this isn't really a side of it that I've ever explored. I can always remember the one Disney film that I really didn't like was The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because I just didn't like how like the character was treated, and I didn't like that. And I can remember as a kid picking up on that, and you know, like I would say I was a pretty normal average child, so I assume some people at least picked up on that one. But as a kid I didn't pick up on any others, and I haven't like seen, you know, Disney or even read Brothers Grimm at all like as an adult. So I'm really intrigued to like read this, listen to this, like gain as much knowledge and information as I can from this. So yeah, it's a great one. I'm hoping it's great. Obviously I don't want to recommend it quite yet because I haven't read it, but I have a feeling it's going to be amazing. So yeah, watch out for the January wrap up because I'm committing to like getting these read, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to recommend it then. So those were all of the books that I've picked from the prompts. We've completed our first Snakes and Ladders TBR game of 2023. I do hope that you'll stick around for more of them. Leave me a comment down below of any books that you think I should read. I know you can't see them all in this video. Normally you can see most of the books in the background of these, but leave it anyway. Do give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you want to see more like this. I do these TBR games every month. I do a load of other bookish videos, a load of other random stuff as well, such as hair dye, travel, house renovations, random bits and bobs that inspire me at the time. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.